I recently got a request to do a more thorough video on my naked Vstrom build. So here we go. This is a Kawasaki Vulcan headlight. So it's a factory LED headlight. Super bright. I made a bracket. If you could see this bracket to mount the headlight. And then, so I have this bracket come over and then a flat bar goes across. And then I have it bolted going up. And this is the factory mount here. That's for the top side. For the bottom, I have these little standoffs. I ground a little taper in the standoff. And this is one, it's a through hole. This bolts into the factory. Oh no, I actually had to drill and tap the lower clamp. This is a fork brace. These are stock DL650 forks on my, this is a 650. So the internals are better in the 1000 forks. And this is just a rock guard on an aftermarket radiator. This gas tank is a, I believe it was 06 or 07 SV650. Well, it is an SV650 tank, but the year I'm not, 06 or 7. So to mount the tank, this is a factory Vstrom mount. I had to drill and tap the frame, these 6mm bolts here, and use the factory rubber standoffs. And then this is just an Amazon cap because I didn't have a factory key with that tank. This doesn't leak, but again, I'm not riding wheelies or anything. As for the seat, this is a KTM adventure seat. Usually the seat goes all the way up to here on an adventure. I cut it back to fit the SV tank. Let me show you how I mounted it. So if you go underneath, you see there's a clip. See that clip? Let me pop that clip off. Okay, so I pulled one of these clips off, and let me show you the bottom of the tank seat. So this is a factory mount. What the clip does, it goes through a bar right here. So I welded this little bung onto an existing part of the frame, and then the clip goes in and that holds the seat in place just like that. Pretty simple design. And then in the front, the KTM seat has these hooks. I made this flat bar, so these hooks slide into the flat bar. And then that's what I did. I just stapled, I cut the seat back to fit that. Here's what I did to the subframe. So I cut this off the factory subframe. Originally this angle of the bar was probably down to here, and then it had a bunch of extra garbage on it, so I cut this off the factory frame. I maybe took out 2 inches of it, and then I made the angle steeper. I welded to this. This is a factory, no, is this? Yeah, this, I made, this is all custom built, this entire top frame section. And then I added, so this is the only piece of the original subframe left. So all of this, no, this was original subframe as well, just this little corner piece. And then you see there's a gusset here. And while we're over here, you can see I made this bracket to mount the SV tank. This is a little bit more clearance than I'd like, but that's how I had to fit it with the Vstrom gas tank in the way. So you can see I still utilizing the factory rubber mounted bracket here, but then it's hard mounted here. So there's this bolt here, as well as this bolt on this side. And then as far as the factory battery box, I shaved off a lot of the additional stuff, and the relay box, probably not my best work. Relay box is, you know, it's zip tied on, but it's through the rubber mounted. It's solid, it's not going anywhere. And then let's take a look through the back. So I added this bar. It's at an angle, just each side of the rear subframe, how it played out was a different angle. So that's why if you look at the back, it kind of goes up at an angle. I don't care, the bike's paid for. So this is a rear shock from a ZX 1200 or 1300, I don't remember, maybe an 02, 04. So this is the one I ran. The upper was a direct fit. If you could see, the upper was a direct fit, but the bottom, I remember I had to shave. There's a middle spacer. It's the same diameter bolt, but the middle spacer I had to shave down on my lathe just a little bit. But that was pretty easy work. Overall, it was a direct fit. It was the same exact length as the Vstrom shock. So if you need more detailed of a length, I could try and get a length of this one, and then maybe a part number off this one if you guys need to do that swap. But I got rid of the factory adjustable shock, and this one has, you know, by far so much more adjustment. But it's mainly me that rides on it, occasionally my wife, but it's plenty stiff. But it was such a better ride once I went to this shop. Once I went to this shock. The factory one is garbage, but V-Stroms are a budget bike anyway. So to mount the rear tail light, this is the factory tail light for the V-Strom. I got these little brackets, you know, welded from, this is welded on my original piece to bolt the factory lights. So all the lights, all the wiring's all stock on this. It does have the aftermarket Amazon special LED lights. And I just noticed this one's broken. Well, the lens is broken. So again, for the rear subframe, this is cut off the original, and I bent a steeper angle up, and then I welded to this, and then I made it so it's extra tall for me to ride on. The exhaust aftermarket muffler that I ended up cutting, and I welded onto the muffler here, the adapter, and it has a good clean angle on the bike. Stock wheels, stock engine, stock front wheel. Let's see. Yeah, as far as the build, that is it. So if you like any more details of, can you see me? There you go. Any more specific details, let me know. But I've had the bike probably 5 years now. It's been pretty solid. Hey, thanks for watching.